Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Asia Smart workshop on cybersecurity in Web 3.0. I'm Paula from WTIA today's MC. Before starting today's workshop, I would like to express my appreciation to your support on behalf of WTIA, the organizer of Asia Smart Award 2022 and 23. We are particularly thankful to be continuously supported by Free Hong Kong as well. Moreover, thank you to AWS for providing the wonderful venue for today's workshop. Let me introduce our speakers today. We have Mr. Roger Pan, Tertiary Business Development Manager, and Mr. Wayne So, FSI Solution Architect. Both are from AWS, Amazon Web Services Hong Kong. And we have Mr. Mike Low, Regional Director and Team Lead from Wizlynx, and Ms. Yan Hong, Sales Manager from Blackpanda Limited. After all of the sharing, don't miss the panel discussion monitored by Mr. Antony Ma, CEO and founder of Hoplite Technology Limited, where experts on cybersecurity in Web 3.0 will share their knowledge. And before passing the stage to our speakers, I would like to invite all the guests to have a group photo section. Please come on stage. Our speakers may stand here. Okay, ready? Look at the camera. 3, 2, 1, smile. Let's stop. Yeah. Okay. Ready? All camera ready? Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's pass the time to our speaker of the first session, Roy and Wayne from AWS.
Hello, nice to meet you all today. And it is our pleasure and honor to host this cybersecurity Web 3 event with WTIA. So let's introduce ourselves again. My name is Roy from AWS, who is Territory BDM. And next to me is Wayne So. He's from FSI Solutions Architect. So today, here comes with the agenda. Firstly, I will talk about what is Web 3, and then I will talk about some potential risks and threats in Web 3. And then Wayne will elaborate more how to safeguard and protect web application as both user and builder. And finally, Wayne will help to elaborate more AWS reference architecture for Web 3 application to all of you. So what is Web 3? Maybe some of you are familiar with this technology, but I would like to take this chance to have a high-level explanation. Back to 1995, we are in Web 1 era. It is read-only. That means the user can only access the information on the internet. And 10 years later, it comes to 2005, it is Web 2 era. The user can not only read the information, but also they can share their context with other users in the community. That means it comes with read and write components. And nowadays, Web 3 is a hot topic in the market. So it comes with additional component ownership. The user can own the data. They can build the data in their blockchain, they can share with other users, and that's why they can gain some incentive from the data. So let's elaborate more on this. Sorry. Okay, so maybe some technical problems. And let's elaborate more. For Web 1, it is like a static website. For example, Yahoo, Wikipedia, the user can access the website to read the information and evolve from the Web 1, it comes with Web 2 technology. So here comes with some example like Facebook and Twitter. The user can share their contents and give their comments on other people in the community, so they have the interaction with each other. So Web3 is more like the user can own the data. They build the data in the blockchain technology, so they can gain the incentive from the data that they own. Okay, so this is the evolution of Web1 to Web3. And who are in the Web3 universe? So here comes with two main categories, Web3 native. Most of the companies in Web3 natives are born on the blockchain technology. For example, for the exchange sites, crypto.com, Wizlynx, Coinbase, and NFT, we have OpenSea, Immutable, and maybe some of you are also familiar with some game fund like ASA and Star Deltas. But there are some companies which are non-Web3 native, maybe Visa, PayPal, and Mastercard. Although they are not born on blockchain technology, but they are actively adding the blockchain technology into their strategies and research. Let's take an example. Crypto.com is our AWS customer. They are building their cryptocurrency trading platform on AWS. The customer needs to access the trading platform by 24/7 and full functionality. So they leverage different AWS services to build a reliable platform to serve their customers. So to take an example that uses the transit gateway, our service to connect different virtual private cloud in different AWS regions to give the high scalability. And at the same time, all the traffic is encrypted, so it can protect their platform from DDoS attack. Another example is Logview. Logview is our customer too. They are the blockchain service provider. They provide the blockchain as a service and full-fledged node services, etc. They leverage AWS Python EC2 server instance to build their platform, and also they also leverage our Aurora database service to scale its database across the multiple regions. So this gives them the reliability and also the enterprise performance. By leveraging AWS services, they can grow their customers over 10,000 within the first 12 months of their funding in September 2021. So what are the potential risks and threats in Web3? Here comes with 7 main points. Firstly, smart contract vulnerabilities. Smart contract is the main component in the whole Web3 technology. So the smart contract is vulnerable to the hacker attacks. They can easily manipulate the code and then will steal some crypto from the users. And also there are some malicious actors from the outside internet. They may initiate some phishing attacks and social engineering risks to attack the user. And most of the Web3 users are new to the market, so they may not implement enough security measures or mechanisms to enhance it. And also, the Web3 application and platform usually leverage third-party service provider, such as wallet and exchange, etc. Those third-party service provider may not even implement enough security measures and mechanisms. And also, the whole Web3 is built. The whole Web3 user privacy is built on the public blockchain, so it is quite difficult to maintain the user privacy. And lastly, the regulatory risk. That means nowadays not all the compliance or regulation are in graphic technology areas. So it is quite susceptible to the attacks from the outside. Based on these main 7 points, Wayne will further elaborate how to safeguard and protect the graphic application from the user side and from the builder side. So let me pass to Wayne.
Thank you, Voice. My name is Wayne. I'm from AWS Solution Architect team. I'm going to share more about how you can protect yourself and your user as a builder or as a user in the Web3 ecosystem. I'm a very careful person, so when I use the wallet and when I interact with this decentralized application, actually I have a dedicated notebook, which I'm not going to do anything apart from the Web3 things. And when I create a hot wallet, I will use the paper and pen to write down all the secret phrase and put it into the same. I will never screen capture those phrase, and I will not use my phone to interact with all these things. However, I do suffer from one security incident previously. Let me share with you my own experience. 1 year ago, I purchased an NFT from the marketplace. And on the other day, the price of the NFT rose 80 to 90%. Right? And I would like to sell it and to get the profit. However, the marketplace did not allow me to list the NFT. The reason was they mentioned the NFT was a stolen item. The original NFT owner, the wallet, his or her wallet, compromised and hacked by a hacker, and they transfer this NFT, and then the hacker lists this NFT in the marketplace, and I purchase it. And after that, the original owner report to the marketplace that, oh, this is a stolen item. The item was original from me. And then the marketplace just locked this item, not allowing me to list. So I cannot sell it, and the original owner suffer from the stolen activity as well. And the hacker get money and then. So after that, I try to look into the trading activities and the transaction before I purchase an activity. So based on this model, I would like to tell you that you need to pay further attention, right? At this moment, right, as a user. And this is very important. Do not share your secret recovery phrase or public key to the other. I think but I still see different hacking related to this one, Twitter or Discord, different community user reported as well. In Web3, the wallet is a get key. Public key is the address of the wallet. Public key is the way that you try to tell the other you own this wallet, so you own the asset. If you provide the key to the other can get your asset and get the token. Even worse, you can use your wallet to do some illegal activity, and you have to do this not by you. So this is a very important first point that you need to go into the ecosystem. If you have a hot wallet, never share the key base to the other. Or whether you will use some other technology to protect yourself as well. The second point is that when you use the decentralized application or when you interact with the smart contract, you look into the permission they ask from you. And then if you need to approve any transaction, look into detail what they are taking for you, for example, token or NFT. So these are the way as a user you can protect yourself. For some more advanced user, they can look into the smart contract code to see if there's any abnormal behavior before you interact with this contract. But for those who are not so advanced, what can they do? Nowadays, we have different AI technology. Maybe you can just copy and paste the smart contract to see and to ask the tool to help you summarize the things. investigate before you really interact with the smart contract or the decentralized application. So these are the other points that you may need to be aware of. You need to keep yourself up to date. Any vulnerability in the market, vulnerability you need to avoid it. And then do your own research is very important. When you look into different AOL and YouTube, they're trying to sell you different products, they will tell you this is my financial advice and do your research, which is true because you need to be responsible for your own action. It's different from the traditional ways that you may bank or other party may have to recover your loss or maybe get back the amount. If you send the token into the wallet address or if the token money has been stolen by it's gone one record in portion. So it's very important. As a builder, you need to protect your community and you need to protect your user as well. There are certain ways that you need to be careful. So I will try to elaborate some point. For example, you need to ensure the code. You try your best to reduce the risk of your developer's smart contract. The way what you can do is that you can try to look into different vulnerability and to double check each form to see whether your smart contract equals vulnerability or not. You may also ask help from the third party that you can help you on the smart contract before you deploy it. And if you are going to use some third party library or solution, open source solution, make sure you know what they doing. And then keep track on if there's any new vulnerability happen in those solutions. As I heard, many of you are developers, so I go a little bit deeper to give you an example of an attack in smart contract. So this attack is called the enhancement attack, and it happened in the realm is a Solidity language. The contract is written in Solidity. So you can see this contract actually doing very simple things. It allows user to deposit money or token, or I say money is the part. You can deposit money into this contract, and you are able to withdraw the money. And we have a fallback mechanism in EVM, right? When you send the money, it will call the fallback mechanism. And then as an attacker, I can develop my contract to first, I will send the money to this vulnerable contract. And then I'm trying to withdraw the money. But in here, you can see the command line. First, I will check the balance. At the beginning, the balance is positive. So you are allowed to withdraw the money from this contract. And then after transfer the money, we are going to set the balance to 0 or deduct the value of what we withdraw. But before we can execute the last one, the fallback mechanism can be used by the hacker to call back the withdrawal function again. So you are able to, the hacker will be looping this until all the funds are generated within this smart contract. It's not new, which happens in 2016. A lot of cloud and smart contract have suffered from this one. The way that you are able to fix it, the way that you are, in a certain way you can fix this kind of vulnerability. For example, you can add a lock to ensure that before the whole function finishes, you are not able to call it again. And you are able to use the modifier to add as a stage to track or relate to that. So these are something that is a simple example of how we can track the code within the smart contract. And different chain, different smart contract, different language have different things. So we need to be careful. The other smart contract was listed here. So as I mentioned previously, before you deploy the contract and go through, you can search on the internet and then go through the different vulnerabilities to see the smart contract. If you are not doing some new thing, you may refer to some existing or smart contract which one for a long time. So be from scratch. So in AWS, security is our first priority, no matter internally or externally. So we empower our builder to build their service on top of our infrastructure. And we provide different security features. For example, we have the identity asset management solution, which allows you to set different permissions to different users within your development team or operation team. And externally, you are able to use our service for single sign-on. And we have some detective control to monitor the metric of your applications and then to look into some of the audit trail. And the other protection including some of the web application firewall and the VPC is the way that you isolate your network. And data protection, we have different kind of key management service for you to develop your applications. And underlying, this is our certificate. So if your community or regulator auditor would like to know what type of compliance certified underlie your infrastructure, we have the AWS artifact for you to download this book. And then we provide to the auditor or regulator. And I will end the presentation by sharing some of the reference architecture from our customer use case. We have natural one which is an isolated environment, allowing you to isolate the ports that run in CPU and memory as well. So some of the decentralized application or the blockchain technology will use it to handle some very privacy or very sensitive data, for example, personal data or IoT. So we're able to isolate this within a totally isolated environment. For the detail, you can search online with more data, or you can have to identify what you can do. The other one is that when you are going to provide some API service, we have some solution helping to build a service, for example, Laughter. However, for you, if you want to expose the API for the third party or for the user, you can use our API key, help to do the authentication and photo and separate those assets are the service we provide for our builder to build the application. Thank you. And at the end, one thing is that we are going to have even something in May, and we welcome all of you to join. So you can scan the code and register for the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation and by explaining the presentation, even the coding. And next we'll have Mike Lowe, Regional Director and Team Lead from the Wizlynx Group. Welcome.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys enjoy today's presentation. First of all, I would like to, I thought I would bring some interesting topic regarding the AI to the Web3, and but sounds like people are more interested on Web3 security. In fact, I previously presented a topic regarding Web3 security in other events, and I thought today's presentation is more focused on AI, so I bring a lot of AI stuff into my slide. But after listening to the AWS speakers sharing, I hope I would like to share more about my insight on Web3, because I think Web3 security is more close to your concern, because more and more people get involved in the NFT project and also cryptocurrency or a lot of similar things. So I guess this may be more of interest of you guys. Okay, first of all, yeah, please bear with me if I'm not following the slide, because I think what I'm going to share should be more in my other events presentation slide. So I will take some time to share more interesting stuff for you guys. Okay, first of all, interesting stuff. The cartoon and the image is not created by myself, it's created by the AI, some AI graphic generations tools. And also the company background is company background. We are from a Swiss-based company. We are doing cybersecurity pen test. Today it's not a commercial presentation, so I won't go to detail. Just let you know we are from a Swiss company, and we do a lot of cybersecurity assessment for our customers in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and also Macau. You see there is a logo at the bottom. Sorry. Yeah, at the logo at the bottom, I would like to emphasize this logo, CREST. Some of them may have heard of that. CREST is a UK standard which is suggested by the regulatory bodies for finance and banking segment, which they require the banking or finance segment to do the security assessment every year by using the service offered by CREST certified company. We are one of the very few companies in the world with the Swiss headquarters, APAC, Singapore headquarters, and Hong Kong headquarters also certified with CREST. So I hope this gives you guys an insight. Okay, who am I? My name is Mike. I've been working in cybersecurity space for many years. Even I'm not looking very old, but in fact I'm a very old man. And then I think probably, yeah, me and some guests in this room are first generation of cybersecurity practitioner in Hong Kong. We had the first batch of getting the CISSP 30 years ago. And then after that, we start to doing a lot of cybersecurity stuff. At that time, we don't have cybersecurity posts. Whenever people or relatives asking, Mike, what are you doing? What are you doing for life? I say, I'm doing security. And then at that time, most of the time, they will think of, oh, so pretty, you're so young. Why? How come you be a security guard for a building? And I say, no, not that way. But no matter how I explain, it is different, and it's not the same thing. They also think of, oh, so who are you? You have to do this. But after a couple years later, they know cybersecurity, and they start realize that security role is not security guard role, but a cybersecurity role. So they start to know us, and they start to know cybersecurity is a new industry in the market. And okay, it's okay. Again, as mentioned, like last speaker from AWS, I declare that most of the time I'm not the expert of professional investment on crypto, NFT, or blockchain, or other things. So whatever you want to do, please DIY or do your own research, because it's a high risk on crypto market. There is no chance, no prediction, no 100% guarantee for any investment. So don't be so quick to make a decision. Do your own research before you make any choices. ChatGPT is one of the very hot topic recently. Why it is so popular? Because its growth rate is one of the fastest in the world. You see, Netflix takes 3.5 years to get millions of 1 million users, but ChatGPT only got 5 days to obtain 100 users, millions users. So it means that most of the time, how come these services are so popular and welcomed by the users? It's because of the flexibility, the functionality, and the easier of its usage. I guess not all the people use ChatGPT or OpenAI to do your daily work or to facilitate what you're going to do, right? Anyone is using ChatGPT for your work or for your research or for your project or whatsoever. Okay, some of them, yeah, great. It's good that you guys are using, and then I think some of the topic I'm going to share will be of your interest. This is some incident from the Web3. Just let you guys know, Web3 is not secure, it's new to the market, and there's a lot of things that we need to understand. And also, Lemmas, which AWS speaker has mentioned about, it is what we call a hot wallet. In fact, there are 2 types of wallet. One of them is hot, the other is cold. The hot wallet is already plugged in online. The cold wallet is offline, a hardware one. I didn't put the slide which I present in other event, but in fact, if I know you guys are more interested in this stuff, I will put more slides related to these kind of things. I would say the hot wallet is just a small hardware which you can plug it in when you use it, and you need to pass something or what we call passcode. in order to approve the transaction. And also he mentioned about the BIPS, what we call recovery seed. Each hard wallet, cold wallet has a recovery seed, which is used to recover your hard wallet whenever you lose it or whenever you suspect the device are suspectable by hackers or something. So yeah, just want to let you guys, there is two types of wallet. Web3, there is no login account, no user account, no password. You need to use a wallet to represent your own. And also, for AI, we, as more and more people using AI to do a lot of things, so AI become a very critical platform for your daily operation, for daily business operation. What is the case if AI is no longer a trustable platform? It means that what is the case if the answer you get from AI is no longer a trustable answers or trustable resources? Have you ever heard about it? Have you ever think about it? No, right? You use the ChatGPT, you trust the output from it, right? You think it is trustable, but have you reviewed what it given to you? No, because you trust it. But recently, some research tell us Open API or ChatGPT is no longer a very trustable source. It means that some of the content provided to you might be not correct or incorrect or even with bias. So I'm going to tell you what potential challenge or vulnerability that may from the ChatGPT or OpenAI. First of all, there is some attack. This is talk about AI system is vulnerable to some kind of attack, which is done by some incorrect or weakness of the authentication from the AI algorithms. And also, if someone who realizes the Web3 architecture, they can insert some malicious codes in there so as to make the AI to give the wrong or constant response to the user who want to get the answers. And second is that you may have heard about AI, you may have heard about big data. Anyone knows about the difference between the two? No, right? AI using big data using AI. So what's the relation between the two? In fact, as mentioned here, big data refers to a huge amount of data which we generate every day and which is used by AI to do the analysis or some data analytic operation. And AI, it has to use a huge amount of data, which it needs, because to perform some human-like behavior, we need to have some experience of statistics, which enable the AI to make decision or make some choices or make some recommendation or answers to your questions, right? Okay, so that's the reason why big data and AI are correlated. Again, not exactly the same things. So in summary, big data is some raw material that AI used to learn, make decision, or AI is the technologies using big data for do intelligence tasks. Another concern about the AI is the data privacy. Okay, one interesting things or recent incident, I see some audience is laughing. I know he may know some incident around this topic. Someone who put very sensitive and critical business data on ChatGPT or some open API source to seek for the answers or seek for the advice, but he doesn't know those input will be part of the data analytics stuff. It means that if you put some sensitive information on there, those sensitive will be recorded in the platform and then be analyzed by the platform or even used by or referenced by other users who input similar questions. So anytime if you want to input something on that platform to see for the answers, make sure those are not sensitive things or not your business data. If you did, I'm sorry, there's no way you can revert it because things that you have input in there has already been there and no way to revert it. But what you can do is in reference to the some attack method that I will explain to you later on. You can try to use something to correct the result or correct what it has been collected from your data. But anyway, they're just looking. It is some policy issue on news related to GPT. It's talked about something which in 2020 July, and then some issues hasn't happened, which is make the Italy data regulator issue a temporary emergency decision to stop the open API to operate because it is using a personal information of hundreds of Italians. It means that people are not familiar with the platform, but they put a lot of sensitive and very sensitive information onto the platform. It makes that platform a vulnerable one because anyone do inquiry regarding or related to those information may retrieve some very sensitive information. So again, don't put sensitive information on open API for questions. The first thing said is the bias and discrimination. In fact, this topic is very sensitive. I won't go into very detail, but just tell you guys, AI platform can be partisan by a huge number of data you input, or ChatGPT is not only can seek for answers, but also you can talk with him, chat with him, and teach him something. Say, for example, if you get answer from this platform, and you don't think it's the answer, you can say it's not correct one. And what is the correct one could be that, or this. Then it will learn it. And then next time, if you ask the same questions, say, for example, Milo is a celebrity. I work for a media and a very famous one, KOL. If I train the chat and say that this is true, whenever he answers me, oh, Milo is not a celebrity. Milo is not work for not a KOL, not a celebrity. But most of the time I answer and say that, hey, I'm a KOL, or someone who input say Milo is a KOL and then celebrities on not cybersecurity things. And each platform will really think of, yeah, this is the fact. Then next time when someone will ask the same question, he will ask, oh, Milo is a celebrities, KOL, non-cybersecurity one. So this is very a case which I can share is previously there are some sensitive things which is put on ChatGPT which make some bias, and it is possible or vulnerability that we may think of, and we need to be considered as well. And the complexity and the opacity. AI can be very transparent, but sometimes it is not so transparent and very complex. It's because most of us are connecting with the platform on the web-based one, right? But most of you are using the platform. Anyone are not using a web-based, anyone using the shell mode or command mode and key in the command instead of using a web platform? I guess no, right? Because it's most convenient way to use the ChatGPT platform. But in fact, some algorithms are logic behind are very complicated, and not every people understand it algorithm behind. So it could be if someone who knows some secret inside, they should give some I would say malicious code while those command, and then give some wrong expression to the platform so as to let it to give you a wrong answer or a bias or not exact answers. This is one of the news I would like to share. It's talk about the UK published a report on the impact of the AI on the product safety. It is because if we talk about if we look in here, the AI, some potential negative impact could be come from the complexity, which I just mentioned, and also the machine learning. Machine learning model varies with different kind of things. There is different approach of machine learning, and also the robustness, and also the transparency and the fairness and discrimination. All these stuff are affecting the AI's effectiveness, useness, and whether it is giving the correct answers. So the last thing, and also one of the very common key problem or issues that we are facing is the workforce in this area. Not saying AI or Web3, even in cybersecurity space, people we are understaffed at the moment. I know most of you guys are senior management, you're hiring people. Okay, is it easy to hire a very good staff in Hong Kong and in your area? I don't think so, right? Not easy. A lot of people applying for posts, but not all of them are very qualified. So in this space, cyberspace, first of all, not enough qualified or good candidate who join the industrial, and also especially for Web3 and the cybersecurity space under AI, is hard to get one. So the challenge is coming from how we can effectively get more candidates from this area to join the industrial and make this area a more safety one. Of course, I know some of the guests or some of the participants today who may have connection with the university. Yes, university is one of the ways that we get people hired. I would like to name an example for our company. How do we hire pen tester? You may say, okay, it's hard to find a good pen tester, but what we do is to hire a good pen tester from the campus. You have heard about CDF. Anyone heard about CDF? CDF is capture the flag. Capture the flag is a game, in cybersecurity game. It means that in the virtual environment, we set up a lot of wormholes, and then people who join this game, the aim to win the game is to find as much as vulnerable hosts and its vulnerabilities. The more vulnerable hosts you find or vulnerability you find, you get more marks. The one who get the most marks win the game. So this is a CDF competition that we do regularly. So how come we get talent from this kind of competition? We launched the competition in campus, and then we invite the student join the CDF competition. Most of these students are very talented. They win the game, and we know they are very hands-on and they are very skilled. They are very skillful, and we start to contact them while they are studying. Before they graduate, we start to contact them and ask them whether they're interested to join our company as a cybersecurity practitioner. And most of them are interested to join. So that's the way we get talent from the campus. And that's why most of our colleagues are very young. They're just fresh grad, but don't treat them a fresh grad. They are a very experienced pen tester because while they are studying, they learn a lot of skill set and they are very hands-on. The hands-on level is even more than me because they are very good to think out of the box. But we have been in the industry for many years, and then we are not thinking flexible like them. So don't underestimate their capability. Okay. Last but not least. Can you please? Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, it is some news regarding the cybersecurity and also how we can close the gap about our workforce. Okay, and the last thing is talk about how we integrate all these challenges and facing and tackle the cybersecurity challenge from one piece basis. We talk about we need to train more people, enable and promote more cybersecurity awareness in the market, and launch or host more events like today's one. Have more people to know Web3 security, and then get more people to be involved and have more discussion sharing so more people can learn more about it. Oh, sorry. And sorry. Yeah, okay, thank you. So today's takeaway is AI in cybersecurity spaces, especially in Web3, is new things. Web3 is a new trend in the market. Most of the company are those most of them are going into the Web3 spaces, and more are facing security challenge. So a couple of things that we need to take notes. One of them is Web3 is new things. We need resources. We need the technical or professional to join and to support the operation. Second, Web3 is more likely the personal awareness we go fast with priority, because most of the time the content one is the wallet. The key thing is the wallet. If you receive some SMS, if you receive some email, if you receive some notification sending you saying that, oh, your wallet has issue, I need to click the link and then to verify something, 100% or 200% is a scam, because in the wallet no one knows who you are unless you claim who you are. So never click on any link, even if it's from the guy you trust it. Most of the NFT or Web3 project, they will have a Discord account. No matter who else send you message from Discord, never trust the message, because most of the time these messages shouldn't be sent to individually. It should be sent to everyone on the group chat, but not individual one. As long as those link that require you to click on, no, never. And also, as mentioned by the previous speaker, never disclose your recovery seed, the 12 or 24 phases to anyone. Never capture in the photo, never capture in the electronic device. Write down manually and then put it in safe, or put it somewhere where you think it's safe, will be the best practice. So I think that is today's sharing. I hope my sharing can give you some insight regarding the Web3 cybersecurity and also something related to AI things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, for interesting and detailed tips on cybersecurity and AI. We really have to take care of every single link others send to you. And next, we'll have Yan Hong from Blackpanda Limited to have our final sharing today. Welcome, Yan. Hello everyone, thank you guys for joining me today. I'm Yan from Blackpanda. And okay, you guys have learned a lot about the Web3 and how to protect yourself from using it. And today I'm going to share about you guys what cases we've been working on in the real life. Because we all know that Web3 now becomes an indispensable part of our life, and even for the business. But we also know that Web3 is still under development, so which means the users will have higher risk exposure under different kinds of cyber attacks. But because in the past, in Web2, they only target like some authorized parties, the centralized parties, but right now it's decentralized. So every single node and every session can be the target. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard about that. In 2022, actually, the total loss in Web3 due to the cyber attacks is over $3.6 billion. And this number keeps increasing in 2023. And so let's explore more how can we protect and defend ourselves against the cyber attacks. Okay, my speech will be delivered in two parts. And the first thing, I will share some real-life case with you guys, and based on a very typical and common cyber attacks in the Web3. And the second part, let's explore some solutions to handle it. And of course, most of the time, you guys will need a third-party specialist suggestions to handle it. Because fighting with the hackers actually need a lot of sophisticated techniques. Okay, I guess some of you guys might have heard about Blackpanda before, but what we actually do. And you guys listen to Roy and Wayne and Mike, and you learn a lot of how to protect yourself from using like the bugs and the Web3 technology. But we are here doing the last mile defense. And most of the time, the client would, they don't want to reach out to us because we do nothing else, but only digital forensic and incident response. So which means client reach out to us because they have incidents, they are attacked, they need somebody to rescue them. But as our CEO Ginny always mentioned that, we do a very little thing, but we do them very well because we are only 1 inch wide, but 10 miles deep. Because apart from the DFR, there's nothing else we can provide. And we also have a sister company named Paramedics Underwriting. So we provide the cyber insurance to our clients. Our mission is very clear. We do protect, defense, and insure organizations against all the cyber attacks. We can have a quick glance of our presence right now. We have offices and boots on ground in 4 different regions at the moment. We are headquartered in both Singapore and Hong Kong, and we have people and offices in Tokyo, Manila, and US, etc. And you guys might have to bear in mind that a services company like us, the human resources, the people is very important, and especially getting the specialist close to you is more important. Because imagine that if there is an incident, you are being attacked, you definitely need somebody to be on site, show face, and hands-on help you to handle the crisis, right? So this is our value part. Okay, so let's have a look of the most common and most popular, I would say, cyber attacks in the whole Web3 world, the phishing attack. Phishing attack actually counts more than 90% of the data breach in the world in 2022, and it's 90. So it's like most of the cases that we worked on, they are phishing attacks. Okay, we can have a quick look of the features of the phishing attacks first. By comparing to other cyber attacks like ransomware, DDoS, etc., the impact of phishing attack and the method is actually a bit pernicious because they're just like creating fake websites, sending different emails to the employees, and try to trick the users to reveal the information. And actually, these are like very old school techniques because they're just like schemes. But you have to know that the hacker just need to be right once, and they can get what they want, right? As long as you click the button, you click the link, and you are the one, you're the unlucky guy. And so anybody can be the victim, and especially the weakest part of the cybersecurity chain, the end users. And especially the one who's new to the Web3 technology, who's new to the blockchain, and they can be the unlucky guy. And yeah, those are only theories, right? So I guess you guys are more interested in what's happened in the real life and what can you do to handle the attacks. So here you go. This is the case that we recently worked on in February 2023. So it's just like 2 months ago. A client in the retail industry is a very long one, and they do a lot of like electronic appliance. They also rely on the online business. They came to us and asked for help. What happened to them is a hacker, they do some reconnaissance online, and they send lots of phishing emails to all of the employees in that company. I guess some of you guys might have the same experience before. Even me, you will receive some suspicious email from one of your so-called colleagues asking like, hey, can you help me to check on this document, or do you think the event is through this link? And once you click it, you are the unlucky one. And even heard from a friend, a funny case happened like 2 weeks ago. And he told me like he got an email from his CEO and asking for his gracious support to top up his online game account. And he will be rewarded after doing so. I mean, it sounds really funny though. But as I mentioned, they only need to be right once, right? What if you're the guy receiving email, you're like, oh, the CEO, if I have my CEO, I'm gonna get promoted, right? And I mean, some silly groups would do these things. And so this hacker is the lucky one because eventually he tricked one of the people from the finance team. like give them the access to the email account. So the hackers successfully get a lot of end user data from that company, and they just like sending all the invoice to the end clients of this company saying, yo, we got some updates on the bank accounts, and please send, please pay to the new account from now on, and instead of the old one. So all these actions actually resulting in more than 255,000 of US dollars wired to the hacker's account. And apart from the financial loss, actually, our client care more about the reputation damage, right? Because this one is more serious, that we don't want to see that. And you can imagine that if you were the end users, will you still purchase something like from a vendor you know that they recently breached? If I were the client, I won't, because I will worry if I use my credit card or my credential to buy things from that company, will my personal data be stolen as well? And am I safe? Is that company safe? So this is pretty sad to see that this company might take more than months or even years to regain the trust from their clients, because it's really hard to build a trustworthy business, especially they're heavily rely on the online technology. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's say, as I mentioned, we do nothing but only apply our services. So what to do if you were the unlucky one? Who would you be calling once there's incidents? Do you have any like a direct access to the IR specialist? Or just call your IT support partner saying, hey, can you help me being attacked? And most of the time, your partner will just tell you, oh, right, we don't have any experience working on the DFR services. Maybe I can try to get you somebody to help you, just wait for my reply. Or even worst case, I've seen some of the clients, they told me, okay, I just Google it, I'm being attacked, what to do next. I mean, it's another laughing matter. Lots of people do these things because they are hopeless, right? Not everybody knows how to do DFR, and that's why we're the only dedicated partner doing these services. And you also have to know that time is really critical if there is a virtual event, because we don't want to miss out any golden hours, minutes, because any delay in the rescue, you have like detrimental impacts. The threat will spread, and they will even affect the whole supply chain. Like this case, they affect the company and goes into their client's account, and they have more harmful events, and you will have like more third-party responsibilities and even the legal consequences. So in the world of incident response and digital forensic, we have a concept called retainer hours, which means some customers, especially the clients from the FSI industry, they will have a concept to prepay for certain amount of service hours. And once there's incidents, the client will be obligated to be helped and rescued. And you can imagine that if without the retainer hours, you are under attack at the moment, you come to our firm and ask for help. Most of the time, the firm will decline to offer support to you because they have to reserve the resources to serve the customer with the retainer hours, right? And that is pretty simple because the resources is limited. They only have that time number of people to help. And or think about this, if we accept to help you on demand, it also takes time because we've experienced so much like this kind of cases. If you come to me saying that, oh, hey, I'm under attack, yeah, please help. So now I drop the quotation, scope of work, we have meetings, we discuss everything. What's next? Will you guys sign the contract immediately? No. Even under this kind of like event of breach, lots of companies, they still need to go through all the internal procedures to get the document approved, price negotiation, terms and condition, revise, and go through the legal department, and the boss will say, well, that's so expensive. Can it be cheaper? And most of the time it's like this. And the negotiation usually takes more than days and to come back to us. And guess what? You missed out the golden hours already. The hackers is like in all of your endpoints. Maybe the first day you discover that's only in one endpoint and maybe in my laptop. But after days of negotiation with us, it's like in everybody's endpoint and makes the things more complicated and the consequences like more harder for us to help.
And so this is the thing, having retainer is very important if you want to be safe on time. And this is the methodology that we always work on. And of course, the threats and they come in different size and scope and ways. But with what retainer on hand, you will get help, like even not from Blackpanda, we have some competitors, right? But you can get the support ASAP at the early stage, because it's very important to find the root cause. I mean, you can hack already, and there's no way that I can get the hackers out and everything resume the same. But it's so important for everybody to have the root cause, because you have to know how the hackers get in and what they did in your network and how long he stayed and how to get him out of that. We will have to contain the threat, etc. Because with all this kind of information, the client will have an in-depth review of the whole network, and therefore they can have a better improvement to protect their environment to prevent any attacks in the future. So this is the most important part, and I'm not going to go for every step of this chart. And if you guys are interested in how we do that, you can come to me later. I can share more about that. Okay, just a flavor of everything that we've been worked on. As I mentioned, there's a lot of kind of threats and attacks, but based on our experience, most of them, over 90%, they're ransomware and phishing, and others like data breach and insider threat, etc. And it's really common seen. But as long as you have a retainer, you will get help from your partners at any time, any method, any means. And at least you can have the last resort and not just standing there like, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm hacked, and my boss will fire me, right? Because the IT managers really afraid that they will lose the job. Thanks. I think I'll skip this point. Thanks. Okay, just allow me a few more minutes to have a summarize on the presentation. And you guys learned a lot from the previous presenters, like how to protect yourselves, and especially just small little steps to protect your personal information is really helpful. And regularly review and update your password, your company's security policies, etc. But if you are the unlucky guy, please just know here's a Blackpanda here to help you once you like get breached or something. And yeah, that's all about sharing. Thank you guys.
For your interesting and detailed case study sharing with us. And before we enter to our next session, may I invite our moderator, Antony, CEO and founder of Hoplite Technology Limited. Before the panel, Antony may have a few words to share with us.
Thank you much, Paula and boss. That gives us advance support to beautiful ladies. They help us organize this event and make things
Good. So let's make a follow-up with our to set up all these UX. So I'm glad to be here at AWS office. Our company has been very benefited by the AWS infrastructures. We had regular meeting with them and on how to use their technology in our products. So a bit about my company, and we'll go straight into those. So we are a SaaS company who builds a lot of different technology to help business to achieve the bare level security. Because again, security product is nowadays too complicated and difficult to use. A lot of say mid-sized firms are having challenges to use to benefit from the cybersecurity tools. So on to this topic, I think already Wizlynx has told us you run your own bank in Web3 architecture. So no one is looking after you because you own your own key. And unlike credit card, or other different charges, you in credit card or in other banking transactions, you are able to report or campaign, and the
bank to IRA, okay, and there are some regulations on how they handle customer fault. But with Web3 and the crypto space, you must be able to do everything the banks do. I mean, regarding a lot of protections, KYC, and backup. So this is what helps us here to understand how, as an individual or as a firm, enter into this Web3 space, you should be acting like a bank. So I think the phishing attack and phishing scenarios is already well known. I see this one. This is a MetaMask attack. So we studied this link. It was sent by SMS to one of our employees, and we looked at this link as 4 different security vendors and check whether they are able to detect it is as a malicious link. Many people surprised. 4 of them are unable to tell at the time that when we received it. Okay, after 48 hours, at least one of them is able to spot that it is a malicious link. At the time when you, as user, getting this SMS, you are not protected. That is the challenge that we are facing because of the safeguarding or the frequencies of phishing emails and phishing SMS. The users are facing, are left, unprotected most of the time. Okay. So we need to look at how the bank use their technology, how you can follow the bank's best practice to protect yourselves. I was in the bank for almost 10 years, working in the security arms, cybersecurity and IT security. So the first part that most banks do, and nowadays, the Hoplite may require every bank to do is have a triple backup, meaning you must have a backup that is offsite and offline. Okay, so it is not only a backup that is in the home, it will be a backup that's not in the office. In some cases, meaning usually this will be in a bank or safe box. Okay, so we need to, and as that device, that hack or that is for the safe box is also a charge. The second part is change of key. That is always an issue regarding the technology. The third part is what is it? All the banks are using what is a website. So you use the website, it's not any website. A website is already been approved, being a secure website that you can use. The fourth one is a lot more. So your device with the crypto assets, when he used a dedicated device for his transactions, and that device should be a lot more, meaning that it has a lot of security importance that you need to make sure that it's not just a computer that has that can install new software. So this gives a quick summary of what we do and how we protect people's in the space. Now we invite Yan and Mike on stage. We will have shares, and then we can discuss and one way join us and picture. And our welcome questions from online guests and see if there are any.
Antony will hold a Q&A section after the panel. It's welcome if you have any question, you may raise your hand. And if you are online, you can drop us a message in the chat room. Okay, all right, let's pass the time to Antony.
Okay, thank you. So, if I would like to know if on this spot anyone has burning question that raise their hand before I go to the. Yeah, okay. So my first question would be, so we have so many digital assets, Web3, NFT, and there are some PMI. So
when we are trying to protect our public key, so what is your suggestions and how? Okay, so what is your suggestions on public key protection? I mean, how you yourself or how your clients are using your technology to protect public keys?
Okay, so this is very interesting question because I got some clients they are running custodial business for their user, like they will hold their public key, they will have their own wallet applications, and they are trying to use different technology. If they are using AWS, we have secret manager and key management service to help them manage their public key in the storage later. And some of them will use some of the HFM and hardware security module to put it into an isolated environment of premises, and when they need to get the secret key, they go there and grab the key for any further processing. But one thing that maybe some of the clients they miss out is that when they process it, maybe some of the sign action, they need to protect those actions as well. So if they are doing isolation, they think they can use a VM, and then within the VM it's isolated. However, maybe VM has some other process, or even within the same application, there will be any vulnerability or backdoor on your third-party applications, which you're able to read your memory during the sign operation. If you decrypt the thing and do the thing within the same machine, maybe you will be compromised. So for that type of protection, we have different ways. For example, more advanced detail encryption, detail of the SPA. So like Antony, and as I mentioned previously, AWS has AWS Nitro Antony, which will allow you to encrypt those processes. So you can imagine within a EC2 or within a VM, we have another isolated form for you to run this kind of very high sensitive information process. And then before this private key comes into this process, everything will be encrypted. And then we are not allowed any other third-party application or library or network connection within this process. And then we will go to our KMS, get the key for the decryption, get the key, and you will use your key and use it to do the decryption process, signing process, and then you will refer the result onto the application within those EC2 calls. So this is some way that we are leverage different type of isolation technology to protect user. A lot of banking customers are using it, and I can see some of the Web3 companies also trying to adopt this kind of technology these days. This is my opinion on the solution.
Seriously speaking, in view of when you're sharing more on the corporate side, my side, my view will be more on a personal side. Whether you just your personal wallet, then your public key is your wallet, then your public key is your face, the PIN, and also the way you protect the PIN using the BIPS, the recovery seed. So the key thing is you have awareness, just like Antony just mentioned about there will be no one to send you any SMS or email or anything else mentioned about your wallet. Request you to take the link for this kind of thing, 100% or 200% is a scam. As long as you key in the link, and that kind of link won't trigger any endpoint or any virus alert because it's normal. The key thing is whether you key in some sensitive things in following, say for example, your personal key, your EIPS, the recovery seed for 12 or 24 phases, and it's sensitive. As long as you are not aware of this will be the key one of the things that you will be facing on this month.
All right, so I think actually Mike, you mentioned something in your presentation earlier. So apart from different technology we can leverage on, and there's one thing you guys have to bear in mind is save in the cold water, or even mark down your pain on a paper instead of like save in your Google Doc and anywhere, and people just like they have you and they get access to the whole document, seeing your password or something like that. And the other thing I think is going to get to leverage on encryption technology. And you set the privacy like policies to that only authorize people to get to access to your keys or anything. So encryption is also very important that we can leverage on. And but you guys have summarized all the key points.
I think for company entities and the key management, you need more than just storing the key, and there will be role and responsibilities controlling the release of the key, but it will be related to some transactions. Okay, so there's more than just keeping the key in the savings. That's why there are other service providers in the custodian is part, they will help and take care of the process. So most of them companies usually rely on person working and all these service providers that helps you to be more prepared, and rather than just go to meet and watch community and do it yourself. That is not advisable if you are going to into this business sense. Okay, so next question is regarding something that's quite trending. We heard a lot about supply chain attack. So there is a lot of attack that the most famous one is Solary. I mean, this is a software that used by a lot of enterprise telco companies, banks. So recently there's the V6 voice software that have been hacked, and a lot of enterprise use this voice over IP software. Their PC is also affected. So in the Web3 world and in these Web3 ecosystems, what type of software or which party is likely to be affected by supply chain attack?
Right. I think it's reviewed different services, so there's a lot of different kinds of cases like this. And in the world of free, I think all software companies and they can be the target. As we mentioned earlier, and this is a decentralized world, right? So everybody has to care about their keys or nodes in the whole blockchain, rather than just heavily rely on a single authority. So the thing is like, don't trust your vendor or your supplier too much. Like they tell you, oh, we have a secure environment, etc. And you are just like, okay, so I don't need to do anything to protect myself. No. And it's very simple. Actually, from the basic things you can do regularly updates and auditing to check all the policies and to check if there's any vulnerabilities, and to do the especially assessments like what Milo providing, the pen test. I mean, this is a very simple way to see if you are easily be compromised and you didn't even know that. And there's some other technology we call dark web monitoring, which is we can do assessments to search all the dark web, see if there's any data leakage already in the dark web. So if you search for that, you got information, which means that you have high exposure under the risk, right? So if you are breached or your service like suppliers and they are breached, and you can be the next one to be targeted. So just like basic review updates and check with your policies and hire the third-party specialists how they already help you to further enhance the whole cybersecurity setups.
Okay. Just to elaborate the concept from Yan, which is what we call it zero trust, means that no any supplier is always trustable. As long as you receive service, the first thing is what you need to do is to check against whether the security practice or posture is good enough for you to trust it, or even today trustable but not represent today's trustable. So every day you should have a very strong awareness that things might be no longer trustable. So most of the time you have this kind of awareness. It will let you to use them safely. Say for example, the third party risk in terms of Web3 from the user point of view, say the hot wallet, the MetaMask that we mentioned. MetaMask is a very common tool that we use by the end user. I think more than 80 or 80-something% in the market share are using MetaMask. So you may think of one day MetaMask will be untrustable. So what else you would do? I would suggest a couple of things. One, use multi-factor authentication, not just use one, not use single one. And second, change password like the way you treat your computer. And third one is notify any incident from the market. If there is any successful behavior or activities that you happen or you find from your device or from your messaging devices, just take a look of that and then do everything once again to double check whether the service provider is still trustful, whether it's any incident recently happened that we take care of. If you have this kind of awareness, I think most of these kind of vulnerable things will not directly hit your device or your wallet at the very first time. So this is my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. To me, the supply chain attack is actually in Web3, we are dealing with similarly in Web2. Because when we trying to run the decentralized application, you need to have your own infrastructure architecture. So actually, it's quite similar to Web2. Just like when you are running a restaurant and then you are delivering food for your customer, how can you ensure the foods are healthy and good? You need to ensure the raw materials that you use to cook the food are good. So how to do it? Just like the supply chain attack, what we mentioned, is that we need to, especially when we're going to use the open source solution, we need to understand what we are using, what actually are those services providing in some of the details. And if there is vulnerability, how can you detect it? Do you have any mechanism that you will be aware of it? If you use it but you are not aware of it, if that's any problem, you don't have it. And so this the second point for it. And for the third point, to me is that you need to know how you respond to this kind of activity. For example, if you are running a restaurant at the same time, the raw material or some problem, how are you going to do it? Are you going to basically file a food, or you are going to start serving these dishes, or you know, so this is the same way what we are doing in what we are. So this is not on the supply chain attack, but we are very very likely to cannot avoid this kind of the party library of medication. Because we cannot do everything about ourselves.
Last year, one of the hardware wallet went of legend they have been hacked. So it's luckily, and this does not impact the wallet owners. So to look at how the architecture of the firms are using, it should give you the sense that even they themselves being compromised. It doesn't mean that you will be compromised. One good example is there's a password manager so under a company's project, and they are experts using these hardware their hardware. So you may receive some not all exactly what was being recognized using that attack. At the end, the users are not being affected because of the architecture in the infrastructure that they use. So when you're running your own people or computers, you should pay attention to the technology behind the software. Was very good. Okay, so let's start discussions. Maybe complain, right? Yes. So now
We have a allegation regarding a new and emerging technology in graphic security. I mean, something that maybe our speakers you find interesting or some insight that you can share. You see something is talking about the new ideas or new models. I mean, ideas fine. I mean, just something that is emergent that you find is interesting to share with our audience.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I need to be honest that is that there will be a lot of new technology. It's very hard to catch up with every new initiative in different trends. But for me personally, I'm looking into two things. One is the zero knowledge, which is the way that we don't need to disclose your whole key that we are able to move to the signature, those kind of things. This in my list, I will be into this technology. And another thing is the account attractions in Ethereum. So we have the Ethereum improvement proposal. I remember the number is 4773. We talked about the way that we are able to leverage smart contract to improve the management, especially for the externally owned account. So we have two kind of one is the contract account and the other is the EOA external in the account. So previously in our sharing, we mentioned public key and the key phase are very important. If we lose it, we lose the right to claim the asset within this quarter. However, with this new technology, maybe there will be a way for us to recover it. So we will change a lot in the way what we are interacting with the hot water. And then it also enables the other type of technology, for example, metal transaction, which is the gas plus transaction for those who need a high frequency and reliability with the smart contract. So I do not have a lot of idea at this moment because I'm still waiting to see after upgrading what we have. But these two things are the new things that I'm looking into.
When will the next upgrade for Ethereum? I would like to share something regarding the cybersecurity on Web3. Our company is doing cybersecurity penetration testing for application. We have more and more customer approaching us and talk about whether you guys do NFT Web3 pen test. But in fact, if they ask the question in this way, I would say sometimes I would fine tune them. In fact, we are doing application pen test for Web3 or NFT is not merely a single application. It's architecture, a sort of combination of different things. But to be honest, to say to the point, we will talk about smart contract because smart contract is the key of the transaction. Most of the markets come from a smart contract. So we suggest that, first of all, if you're running business for Web3, then the key things is to make sure the smart contract is not vulnerable. So if you want to perform any secure assessment, which is mainly on the smart contract, whether this smart contract is secure enough, not vulnerable to be hacked or to be inserted or to be trapped by the hacker. And second is that if you're launching NFT, the pen test is not only an NFT, but for the NFT backend, which generate the NFT for the means process. So these are our experiences that we may share with our customer or anyone who may interest to operate your business on Web3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Maybe I can supplement a little bit as well based on our experience. And the thing is like right now in the Web3, we know that all the things that are stored in the fragments instead of centralized stuff. So if there's any instance, if there's any breaches, it's actually even harder for us to do the forensic because there's so many fragments and they're not stored in the one single place. So that's why I will like keep saying, be aware of all your information, your privacy, your data, because it's not like right, it's decentralized. It's so good that there's no authorities to governance the whole network, or maybe it have like governance in the futures. But at the moment, you have to really be aware of that, because even right now, based on the technology, it will be even harder to trace back if there's any breaches, if you lost your money, you lose your coins or etc. It will be very costly. For example, if you lose like 100, but you get it back, maybe you could spend like more than 100 to get that amount back. Will you do that? So that will be the question. So doing the assessments and the pen test or etc. will be very important for you to protect yourself. Apart from the new technology, this old school stuff is also very important for you to get protected.
Yes. I think the security is something that like an insurance that you must pay and pay before things happen. But if you do it right and do it correctly, then you have a good sleep. If not, then you will worry, and then the next day you wake up and something is irreversible, and you have financial losses. So I think it's very see. How are the guests today on this question?
Yeah, just mentioned a very key things on forensic stuff. In fact, on the blockchain, in my point of view, blockchain, yes, different from Web2, but on blockchain or Web3 stuff, for the forensic, it's even easier than Web2 because everything is on blockchain. Say, for example, if there's a wallet, if it's suspectable, a hacker's wallet, you can track what has been done, what has been involved. But the key is you never know who this wallet belongs to, who guys own this wallet, and how you can track those guys and find this guy from the real world. It means that everything on the blockchain are transparent. You can check it, use like the EMA scan, you can track every transaction related to this wallet. But the key thing is even there is a hacker's wallet, even how many Ethereum it has been hacked from other wallet, but there's no way that you can stop it. What you can do is just mark it as a successful one, and then you do not trade with this wallet. That's the only thing those platforms can be done. But for me, the most key thing is still your own awareness. As long as you have very strong awareness, avoiding to do trade with these kinds of sample wallet, avoid to click on some suspicious link on no matter SMS, no matter email, no matter on Discord DM or whatever IM message, it will minimize the chance that you'll be being hacked. Okay. Do you have something to add to this interesting discussion?
Yeah, I think that self-awareness is very important for us at this moment because it's in the early stage. Although it's happened a few years ago, it's still in the early stage. And then the user need to have a lot of educated and knowledge to protect themselves. But I believe, or I imagine that in the coming future, we will have more mechanism control coming to that field. And it will be more common or more easy for a general user to use it. For example, I saw previously we need to use the word to communicate to this decentralized application. But now they have saw some company trying to integrate with the Web2 application network. So they're able to use the Google style and then the backend and then with those companies. I would not say it's perfect, but at least we are trying to use something to and one observation, I went to the Web3 festival this today, and then I can see previously I can see some company helping people to do the smart contract auditing. And now they are part of auditing, they're trying to do more. For example, we are monitoring on that smart contract is that we update or awareness that we do not and different monitoring solution.
sorry, just remind me of something that I can share a bit more. We actually have another team which specializes in the cyber crime investigation. So, but mainly we serve the corporate. So from that team of the specialists, they mainly focus on the Web3 and blockchain. But as I mentioned, this is really costly. So most of the time they serve the corporate who's suffering from the loss, like a ransom, they got paid the cryptos and transferred to the hacker's account, etc. So that team of specialists, they will have to trace back the coins and to find out where the things goes. But again, to prevent, because it's really complicated, so we have to do more to protect our data, because that is for corporate. The amount is really large enough that you will willing to pay that a lot of amount to get things back, right? And if I mentioned that we have cybersecurity insurance offered to the client, but before you get to be qualified to be insured, there's a lot of things that we have to do to like assessment, to be audited, to be under check, everything. So I mean, you have to do a lot of preparations before you step into that world to get insurance prepared, to get you well protected. And so if you are even under like cyber attacks, you still have someone to help, and the insurance can cover all the loss that you paid for. Because in Hong Kong, cyber insurance is kind of like new things here, and lots of companies, they don't have this coverage. Only the FSIs or like companies under FSCs, they have this kind of coverage stuff, and there's a breach and they got lost and they got paid. They can claim all the amount back. But a lot of other companies, especially the emerging new companies in the Web3, they don't have such kind of concept. So it's important to get different kind of like all-round support to ensure the self-escape. Thank you.
You know, all these are data, I mean, their own personal insight. Any our audience, anyone has questions or questions?
No question, but until maybe later.
Okay. You can okay. So if online there's no other questions, then I think we conclude our session today. I think this is place we can those use time. So thank you, I mean, the speakers and helping us to explain about this. So there are many other events on our which we are time to.
Now, before we draw an end to our workshop, we would like to express appreciation again to our speakers today for the time and expertise. And thank you to everyone in the audience today, both in person and online, and for our support. And we will have 3 more workshops in April and May. Our project, ASA2022 Awards. And the next one will be scheduled on April 28th, talking about the mobile first UI UX design. You may go to our website for more information, and we hope to see you there. Finally, you may ask, may we ask your involvement to filling our questionnaire as a feedback on how you did and suggest how we can improve. And please scan the QR code here and place your comment before you leave. Oh, everyone, have a great evening and bye.